Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. A friend of mine sent me a graphic, and it said something that toxic mothers are far worse than absentee fathers. And I thought to myself, toxic mothers are bad, no doubt about it. But what makes a mother toxic could be the fact that the father left. Now, we can argue which comes first, chicken or the egg. I don't know. Don't care. But I want to focus on the toxic mother part right now, because I was having a separate conversation with one of my friends, and we were talking about these crazy black chicks that we watched these videos, and it came from I was looking at the what they call it, the knockout gang videos, and then I started seeing all these videos of crazy black women just going nuts. Not, catching their guy cheating, but just like in one case, a security guard at one of these little strip malls, there was a shooting or something that happened inside, and he was getting people out who were creating problems. Maybe it was the kids were bothering the vendors, and his job is to get people out. So he was kicking people out. And as he's kicking people out, he kicks out this girl, this woman, who's got a couple of kids, one of them on her hip, and she just goes in a cursing tirade. I mean, got a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a baby on the hip. And she's just MF this, and you MF, and you B, and you this, and she's just cursing this man up one side and down the other. And the security guard is a black dude, big black dude. He's like, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, just get your butt out of here. So he's kicking him out. And there's people gathered around, and there's kids playing all over the place, just running around. And she's still just cursing, and I'm going to come back here. I'm going to shoot. She's threatening to kill him. And he's like, yeah, whatever. Okay, fine. And so, and I'm thinking, the whole time I'm thinking of many thoughts go through your head like, okay, so black chicks are always wondering, why is it that, black men are not marrying black women? Well, that was one of my thoughts that went through my head. And that's not to say that white women don't get crazy too, but there's another layer that comes with a black woman. And I think a lot of people know this. This isn't Kevin Jackson coming up with stuff. This is the truth. And so there's that. But I'm looking at these kids and I'm going, how many generations do I know where black women have acted like that? And what I call a toxic mother towards their children. Now, part of it, I'll forgive them. The frustration of not having a man, somebody who can help and be a disciplinarian and a father and all that. I get that if there's anybody that's suffering through that, it's the black community. And it's been happening since the 60s. It got put on steroids in the 60s and 70s. And now we are where we are, where 70+% of black kids are born out of wedlock and don't have two parents in the household. Single mother families outweigh whole families in the black community. And that's pretty sad. It's actually pretty pathetic. So I want to ask people in general, certainly women, ask yourself, would you be a little bit more, would you be more anxious? Would you have issues if you only, if you didn't have that significant other? What would that do to increase your problems in the community? Your problems in your own family, things like this. And by the way, many white women are beginning to experience this as society goes a different direction, has been, shifting to leftism. So this isn't limited to blacks, but it's just a problem that is more glaring in the black community. I want to be clear about that. So here's what this article says. Even the most chill relationships between mothers and daughters have bumps in the road. It's pretty much impossible to be on the same page as the people who raised you, especially as you get older. Now, I find that statement interesting because I wasn't on the same page as my grandparents in many ways. They raised me like they were Democrats, but they raised me as a conservative. And I saw the difference, but I also recognized the gap in our how we grew up, and I could forgive their ignorance on the subject. But they raised me in the right way, the way that they were raised. So I don't disagree. And from a political standpoint, they taught me how to look at things objectively, even though they couldn't. So I can't tell you, I can say, yeah, there were differences in us, but the core values that they taught me, we were equally yoked. But this author says, no, as you get older, you're going to differ with your parents. No, as you get older, you actually come closer to your parents in thought process. That's what I believe. What was funny is that if you think about it from my perspective, I was actually more like the parent. I know that sounds weird, but politically speaking, I was. I could see how my grandparents were raising me. And over the years, even though my grandmother never in her life voted Republican, I saw her understanding it, even though she couldn't rationalize the conservative point of view and how she really was one, and she shouldn't vote for a Democrat. It was ingrained in her to vote for a Democrat regardless. Next sentence, this person says, but if your conflicts with your mother seem to go beyond what's normal and into an area that leaves you feeling sad, helpless, or bad about yourself, then the two of you may have a toxic relationship. Now, toxic relationships can happen to anybody. Father to son, father to mother, whatever. You get what I'm saying, all the different combinations. I'm not going to go through them. Well, there's nephew to cousin, and no, just kidding. So they can happen to anybody. But with parents, particularly biological, it really is an interesting pull, because it's like I saw a show with a lady whose father killed the mother of the child, but she said, even though he's on death row, I feel something for him. I feel a sense of loss. And I understood what she was saying, given that my dad was a deadbeat. But there was a point in my life where I was like, but I still want to know him. Now, when he died, I didn't care about it at the time. I was like, but at that point, he just burned too many bridges. So I didn't care. But maybe deep down in my psyche, I still do. But I can't find it. But we had a toxic relationship of sorts. So they say a toxic relationship is based around anger, emotional manipulation, or other negative and hurtful feelings instead of mutual support. This is what's lacking in these relationships: mutual support, whether it's the mother supporting the kids in these single parent relationships or the kids supporting the mom, etc. And who teaches that? Who teaches you to say to your son, when your mom is sick, she does a lot for you. You at least have to go and inquire to see what's happening with her, or she's going to feel like it's a one-way street. It takes a parent, another parent, to say to a child, learn that empathy. Learn how to see what your mom's doing. Or mom says to a child, go check on your dad. He works hard to make sure you got baseball practice, or you did so-and-so. This is what, these whole relationships do. You get to fill in the gaps and put the puzzle pieces together for each other, and that's missing. And so I watch these crazy videos. If you have some time on your hands, watch one of these crazy videos of these black chicks going off, whether they're fighting in I watched one where the two of them go off in a chicken joint, or some restaurant over nothing. It was the lady who was working in the place was completely disrespectful, and the other girl called her out on it, who had a baby with her, and those two go to blows. Watch these videos. Don't misunderstand me. I've seen crazy but white girls go to blows as well, but not a fraction. It's a fraction of the number that you can find on YouTube. And guess what? As a culture, black people are all too happy to put it out there, but then want to get mad at you when you bring it up. They go on to say, you can't dump family. Your family's there. You can't dump them. So, and nor should you. But we have a lot of that going on now. I watch these shows. I don't talk to my mother because, she laughed when I was picking out my wedding dress. That's all it took. So I'm not exonerating absentee fathers. Absentee fathers, as far as I'm concerned, you're one of the worst people on the planet if you're not taking care of your kid. I'm not saying absentee in the sense of, you no longer live with your babies, with your former significant other. I'm not saying that. I'm saying when you don't actively do your part to parent, even if you're, it's like you could be in the military, deployed. You still want to parent. You still get the kids on the Skype or whatever they use, and you say, hey, your mom's telling me you're doing this, you're doing that. You can't do this. You back the play of the custodial parent or whatever. But we should be more engaged because we're creating these toxic mothers, and nobody's addressing them. No, I don't believe people are really understanding how to help these people become better human beings and better parents.
Kevin Jackson
on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.